Shalom. We are going to be talking about the topic of truth, and we're going to be unfolding what truth is, what it means, and the role that it plays in our lives. So in this video, we're going to go over the meaning of truth and look at what truth is and get a good understanding and meaning for it, just to set a foundation for the reflections that we're going to have going forward. So I want to start with what the just dictionary definition of truth is. If you look up truth and if you think about truth just as how this society uses the word, if you look it up in a dictionary, of course, if you look up truth, it's going to give you one of those definitions that says the quality or state of being true. So now you got to figure out, well, what is true? So in a dictionary, it says that true is defined as being in accordance with fact or reality. Being in accordance with fact or reality. And then it also gives the definition of being accurate or exact. Being accurate or exact. So this is how the definition, this is the definition that the dictionary gives for true, being true or being truth. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's put this in an example. So let's say that I'm in court and they say to me, so they say Yara was walking down the street at 5 o'clock a.m. on Tuesday morning. Okay, and then they come to me and they ask me, is this true? Is this true? Were you walking down the street at 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning? And I say, yes, that is true. What am I saying? I'm saying that yes, this is accurate. This is exact. This is in accordance with fact. It's in accordance with reality. It really happened. So what you're saying is something that lines up with what really happened. So this makes what you're saying true. It makes it a truth. Okay, so that kind of sums up, what, when we're just using the word true and truth in, modern talk, what we're saying. Okay. So, but we know that being students of the word and those who are walking, saying that we are in truth and walking in truth, that we want to look at what the Most High, what His scriptures, what His language, the Hebrew language, says when it comes to truth, so that we're getting a definition. We don't want to put a English definition and infuse that into our walk that didn't start with the English language, with American culture, right? So we want to, just put it back in its context, is to take a look at what it really means and get a better view that we can work with moving forward. So in the Hebrew, the word that they translate as truth is the Hebrew word emet. Okay, so this is a word that you'll see when you're looking at what they call the Old Testament scriptures, what we call the Tanakh, or through the Torah, the Old Testament scriptures, as they call it. It's written in Hebrew, so this is the word that you'll find most often translated as truth. And we know that we're going to go to some scriptures later on that's going to be from what they call the New Testament, or what we call the Brit Hadashah, the New Covenant writings. Okay, so that is written, what we are reading from is usually from the Greek. You also have Aramaic versions, right? But what we're going to look at, we know that those people were still Hebrew people. So when they're talking about truth, they're going to be talking about it from a Hebrew mindset, from the Hebrew culture. So because of that, we're just going to focus in on the Hebrew word for truth. We're not going to go into the Greek in this study. So the Hebrew word for truth is emet. Emet. Okay? So emet is in Hebrew is the aleph, the mem, and the tav. And if you're looking at the screen, Hebrew reads from right to left. So we have the aleph, the mem, and the tav. And these are the Hebraic letters that make up the word emet. Alright, so we have the aleph. The aleph is the ox head. It has a meaning of strength, power, leader. The mem is waves of water. It has meanings of chaos, blood, mighty, also water, peoples. And then we have the Tav, which is two cross sticks. It has the meaning of a mark, a sign, signature. So this is the Aleph Mem Tav Emet. So this is the Hebrew word that is translated truth. Okay, so I want to look at a couple of different things. We're going to look at some definitions, and we're going to look at some other things that break down with the word in the Hebrew. So first I want to look at just the definitions of the word emet. So if you look in the Strong's Concordance, it's going to give you the definition of firmness, faithfulness, and truth. Firmness, faithfulness, and truth. Okay, so you can look down and you see that some of the translations, some of the ways that it's translated is faith, faithful, faithfully, faithfulness, lasting, right, true, truly, truth, truthful. Meaning, so these are different ways that the word emet is translated in the scriptures. So the Strong's Concordance gives the definition of assuredly, establishment, faithful, right, sure, true, verity. These are some words that fall in line with the definition here of emet, of truth in Hebrew. Okay, so the root of the word emet comes from another Hebrew word, aman. Okay, the Hebrew word aman. And this word has the meaning of stability, certainty, truth, and trustworthiness. Okay, so it's interesting. The Hebrew word aman is the root of emet, and it's also the root of another word called emunah, which is the Hebrew word for faith. So when you see faith and faithfulness throughout the scriptures, that is the Hebrew word emunah. And so both the word for truth and the word for faith have the same root, which is aman. Okay, so let's take a look. So these two words are in common. If you look at when we started off reading the definitions, it started off saying that the definitions was firmness, faithfulness, and truth. So we see that truth and faithfulness have something in common. They're related. All right, so let's look at the root of both of these words. Aman. Aman means to confirm, to support. So that the firmness is dealing with a firmness. Okay, so let's look at I'm not going to read all of this here. If you're looking at the screen, it gives some different ways that this word aman is translated in the scriptures. Just to pull out a few, it just says believe, confirm, doorpost, which is an interesting one, endure, establish, firm, assurance, nurse. Okay, so look now at the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. It says that a primitive root is a primitive root properly to build up or support. Okay, so these are some of the things that this word aman means. So if you kind of put these images in your mind, to build up, support, to foster as a parent or nurse, to nurse. Okay, to be firm or faithful. I'm just kind of skimming through here. You can see them up on the screen here. Faithful, of long continuance, steadfast. Okay, to turn to the right. All right, so those are a few of the meanings from the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, and now the next slide here is dealing with the Brown, Driver, Briggs. So Strong's Concordance, Brown, Driver, Briggs. Then you see the Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon. These are different lexicons. These are different tools that you can use online, or that you can get the books to study, that goes into the meanings of of the word. So these are just different resources. So we're just looking at what these different resources say about this word here, Aman, which is the root of the word Emet. Okay, so the Brown Driver Briggs deals with support, nourish, foster as a father, foster as a mother, to nurse, pillars. Now you'll notice with these, as we get into the Brown Driver Briggs and the Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, these are more concrete things that put pictures, actual pictures in your head. So what the Hebrew does is that the Hebrew is concrete. So when we have definitions like truth, as we talked about earlier, these are things that can have various meanings in the English and the Greek. These can have a lot of different meanings, right? But when you look at things in Hebrew, it has very concrete meanings, meaning it's something that you can that you can see a picture of. It's an action that can be taken, and you can see a picture of it. You can picture it in your mind, and it gives you a stronger idea of what it means. So if you look at these words here, to support, to nourish, to foster as a father, to foster as a mother, to nurse. When you look at pillars, pillars is a good one. Supporters of the door. Okay, so it says faithful as in firm or stable, carried by a nurse. Okay, and when we're talking about nursing, we're dealing with, thinking about a baby being nursed. Okay, made firm, sure, lasting, confirmed, established, sure. Okay, these are more abstract words. Verified, confirmed, reliable, faithful, trusty, stand firm. Okay, so hopefully this is putting some pictures in your head. And in the Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, kind of some of the same things here. To prop, like to prop up, to stay, to sustain, to support, to nourish, to build up. Okay, to be firm and unshaken, such as one may safely lean on. So something that you can safely lean on and know that it's going to hold you up. Okay, and as a verb, it's saying to support, to bear in the arms, like holding a baby in the arms, holding it, supporting it, nursing it, as children. To be firm, stable, and founded. It gives an example of a house, like a house being firm and stable. Founded, a house has a firm foundation. All right, to be of long continuance, perennial, of water. To be faithful, trustworthy, sure, and certain. So these are some definitions of the word aman, which is the root, the core understanding of the word emet. Okay, so aman is the root of the word for truth and the word for faith. So there's a relationship, a strong relationship between truth and faith, and munah and emet. All right, so having said that, we're going to look at a quick scripture that gives a good definition of the word aman, and that's in Isaiah 22, and it's in verse 23. I'll read 22 and 23. It says, "And I shall place the key of the house of David on his shoulder, and he shall open and no one shuts, and shall shut and no one opens." In verse 23 it says, "And I shall fasten him like a peg in a steadfast place, and he shall become a throne of esteem to his father's house." So the word there that says steadfast place, let me read it in another version. It says it more clearly. It says, "I will drive him like a peg into a firm place. He will be a throne of honor for his father's family." So in the first version where I read steadfast, that's the word aman. And in this version when I read firm place, that's the word aman. So he's saying, I will drive him like a peg into a firm place. Okay, so that gives a good picture. Thinking about a tent peg being firmly pinned down. So it's showing something being firm and established. So we can look at this root of aman, something that is firm and established. So emet, truth, is something that is set firmly in place. Okay, so I want to look at I want to go back and look at the Hebrew letters again. we have the Aleph, the Mem, and the Tav. So the Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The Mem is considered the middle letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And the Tav is the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So this word Emet, for truth, contains the first, middle, and last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So it encompasses the entirety of it. And it kind of gives the picture of that we've been talking about when it used the example of a pillar. So I'll put this example up here. When you look at a pillar, it covers the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's holding something up. Think about a building. Think about a table. Think about the fact that the pillars are holding something in place. So with this Aleph, Mem, and Tav being at the beginning, middle, and the end, encompassing the whole of the Hebrew alphabet, the whole of all the revelation that the Most High has given through His words, it encompasses everything. There's nothing missing. And with these three pillars, with these pillars in place, it's giving it stability, it's giving it balance. Whatever is being held by it is able to be firm. So the house that's being held in place by truth is firm. The house that's being held in place by truth is balanced by the truth. The house that's being held in place by truth is given stability. It's by these pillars, by these tent pegs that's being placed firmly in the ground. And it's encompassing the whole. So truth, if you only have a portion, if you're only taking a portion from here and a portion from there, you're not looking at the whole, and that's where you end up in falsehood. You end up in deception. If you just take this scripture over here and take it out of context, and take this scripture over there, or if you just pull a portion of the book or a portion of the character of the Most High, if you're only taking a portion of something and not looking at the whole picture, then you're not dealing with truth, because truth encompasses the whole. Truth takes the whole into consideration and gives the balance, the stability, the firmness of looking at everything, the whole. So this is what I see. This is an observation that I see when I look at the fact that the Aleph, Mem, and Tav, the beginning, middle, and end of the Hebrew alphabet, is the word Emet, for truth. I see that picture in there of that firmness, that stability, that encompassing everything. So these are some things that it speaks to me, is that when we're in truth, it gives us stability, it gives us balance, it gives us firmness, it sets us in place. And truth is something that is set in place, and it can't be moved from the left to the right. It's not something that we can take and move from its foundation. We have to set ourselves onto the foundation that is already set. So these are some pictures that I see when I'm looking at this word Emet, for truth. So these are just some things and some thoughts to reflect on when we're trying to ask the question, am I in the truth? So just another observation is that you see the letters on here, you'll see that the Aleph, the Mem, and the Tav each have a number. So the Aleph is the number 1, the Mem is the number 40, and the Tav the number 400. So the number 1, the Aleph, represents the Most High. The number 40 is a number that's used often in Scripture to represent a time of testing and preparation. So think about when Yahusha was being tested in the wilderness. He went through the 40 days and 40 nights of testing in the wilderness, and it was preparing him for his ministry. And Moshe, when he talked to the Most High, it was for 40 days and 40 nights when he was getting the Torah, and it was a time of preparation. And then when the children of Israel were going through the wilderness for 40 years, they were being tested during that time and prepared to go into the promised land. So that 40 is within this word truth. And then also 400, which 400 is the amount of years that was said that the children of Israel would be in captivity before in a foreign land, before they are released from that captivity to enter into the promise. Okay, so we see all of that captured in this word of truth, and I just see it as an observation and find it interesting that in this season of time right now, we're saying that we are coming into the truth at the same time that we've come to this 400 years, and we are coming out of Egypt, to say we're coming out of captivity, that the Most High is going to be releasing us and bringing us into the promise. So as we're coming into truth, we're coming out of this captivity where we're coming out of this place of that's 400-year period. So I just found it as an interesting observation that 440 and 1 are the numbers that make up this word for truth. One other observation about this word is that the Aleph represents the strong leader. It represents the Most High. So if you take the Aleph out of this word, it leaves Met, and Met is a word in the Hebrew that deals with being dead, to die, death. It's a word that deals with that. So when you think about it, when you take the Most High out of the equation, when you're dealing with truth, if the Most High is not the strong power, the leader, if he's not at the head of whatever we are calling truth, then whatever that we're saying is truth is really leading to death. There's no light in it. It's dead. It's not alive. There's no life. So if the Most High is not, so whatever we want to call truth, it has to have the Most High at the head of it. He has to be the strong power. He has to be what's leading it, what's guiding it, for it to be considered truth. We gave the definition at the beginning that dealt with, just being truth, being just being accurate, and just being facts, and just being lining up with something that's accurate or a fact or a reality. But that's something that can be done without the Most High. And that's a lot of times people say that they've come into the truth is because now they've come into some knowledge, they've come into some facts, they've come into a different reality that is accurate. So they've come into something, you've come into something that is accurate, that is lining up with facts, and you've lined yourself up with these facts and are in a more accurate place or more accurate understanding. So people use that and say that I've come into the truth. But there's more to it, and we're going to talk about and unfold and continue to open up more elements of what it looks like for us to actually be in the truth. And it has a lot to do with the Most High being in it, the Most High being the leader and the strong power that is at the head of it. Because otherwise, when we leave him out, when we're not following him, when we're not submitted to him, then we end up just with something that's true, but it's not emet. It's not something that's stable. It's not something that is firm. It's set in place. It's not something that's nourishing. All right, so hopefully this gives a good start, a beginning, a foundation, understanding of this word in the Hebrew context and what it means and what it looks like. Hopefully it painted a decent picture in your mind. We're going to go a lot more into this, and the goal is to reflect on this from different angles and look at how we're applying the truth in our life. Are we walking in the power of truth? Are we walking in the power? Is the truth changing our lives? Are we lined up with it? Are we really in truth? And is truth being transformative in our lives? So the idea is for us to not just get a head knowledge, understanding of things. That's not what Hebrew was about. It's not about having head knowledge. It's about a concrete understanding that changes what we do. It changes our understanding to change what we do. So we're going to reflect on truth from a number of different angles, so that the Most High can work in us and work in our hearts and work in changing us and transforming us more into his image. So I pray that this gave some edification and understanding on just the word truth. And I look forward to the next video in the series. Shalom.